It's happy hour again at the Banter Bar. Or is it? So, this little episode is non-alcoholics. But you might be asking yourself, well, where's the fun in that? I mean, if you're not even going to get drunk, what's the point? Well, a lot of people don't drink to just get drunk. And for you viewers out there who are worried that there might not be as much of an entertainment factor as there would normally be, which is minimal because it's me, let's face it, but little do you know, I'm already pretty lit. So let's get into it. Drunkenly trying the non-alcoholics. So first up is Buckler's non-alcoholic. It just says it's a malt beverage. Just so you know, I've never seen one that's completely non-alcoholic. They all have like 0.5% of alcohol by volume. This is imported from Holland. Now, it's coming straight out of a bottle. I just cracked the top and the smell kicked me in the face. It just immediately smelled like Stella Artois or something in that vein. That's a good sign. Looks pretty similar. It smells German-ish. This could be a good starting place. Our first question is, what's a sure sign that someone's a sociopath? Maybe when they sit at home by themselves drinking non-alcoholic beers. I don't know. Hang around for the answer. So this does have that European quality to it off the top. It's what you smell. The lacing is nice. I'm a little worried that aftertaste is going to be a bit punchy, you know. It's not. It reminds me of something. I could not tell you what it is. I want to say it's a food more than a drink, but God, that's weird. Weird in a very good way. The weight is right for what it is. It's perfectly carbonated. I don't care that it's non-alcoholic because the aftertaste is so good. Belgian beer is spectacular in my opinion. Most of my experiences have been anyway, so this is hanging right up there. You definitely miss... I think maybe the hop oil is still there, but the alcohol bite is not. And that's really the only thing. Like, once you get under the carbonation and the light oiliness that you get from the hops, it does feel something like a juice, but a Belgian beer take on a juice, that's a solid 7. It just is. If you're looking for non-alcoholic and something that's really tasty, I didn't know we were going to be starting out in great territory, but here we are. Who knew? I've only had a few non-alcoholics before now, and most of them have sucked to one extent or another. That one doesn't. So congratulations, Buckler. A sure sign that someone's a sociopath. I look for the telltale things. I don't know that there's a sure sign. Usually when the stories about their life that they're telling have this grandiose factor to them, but there's no basis in fact, or you can't track any of the people down, even like a strange sounding name, a lot of tragedy in the past, or like, you know, I've talked about this somewhat before, rich people that you just never meet, that sometimes the notion of a twin or a child that they wound up losing, there was never signs that they were actually pregnant. There are a lot of things that could be there. But it's so hard to know the difference between that and someone who's actually going through those things, like the loss of a fetus at some point, the loss of a pregnancy. That's not a sort of toe that I would want to step on. But usually the grandiose factor in the storytelling with no basis and, reliability from a different party. That for me is a pretty sure sign. That sets off some red flags, and I tend to go the other way. Next up is Clausthaler. Clausthaler. I don't know. It's German. Apparently the original. Sorry, the wording on the bottle confused me, and then I had to remember that I'd been drinking already. So it's not the original German beer. It's just the original from Clausthaler. The original non-alcoholic. Superior taste, crisp and fresh. We will see. It's bubbling like crazy. I can appreciate that. Question is, what's in your fridge at home which no one but you is likely to consume? This one smells pretty good. We mentioned German beers or European beers a lot here on the show, and there's some confusion, I think, because I really like Belgian beers, the flavor profile. It's because they still adhere to German purity laws. It's just the types of grains that they use and hops that they use. The way it presents is one of the most perfect things, in my opinion. So, whoa. I was going to say this had a citrus hint in the smell. And then tasting it, it was closer to, not the Flintstone cereal. Why can I not think of the name? Fruity Pebbles? Is that what it is? It's more like Boo Berry cereal. It's so strange. Because I can smell, the hops and the barley in it combining in that typical German fashion. It has a citrus note on top of the nose, but then to taste it, yeah, there's something almost like fruity breakfast cereal about it. I mean, again, for a non-alcoholic, it's not bad. Not even a little bit. Definitely better than decent for a non-alcoholic. I am going to say a 6 on that one. Even if you like, Fruity Pebbles or those, I think it's raspberry is what it is that I'm picking up on. Even if you like that fruit note, you might find this kind of off-putting. Something about the aftertaste is a little strange. It's more in the category of beer than you might be used to if you like just berries. So it's not a girly drink type of fruit. So what's in my fridge at the house that no one but me is likely to consume? I keep a lot of weird things in the fridge just because I like to cook, from different places around the world. I like the flavors. But a lot of what I like that no one else that I live with likes is a lot of the Mexican candy and fruit flavors. So I keep a bottle of chamoy in the fridge, and when I can't get my hand on the Lucas popsicles, I will blend the chamoy sauce with ice and some fake sugar, maybe a little bit of lemon or lime juice, and just gives me that flavor. I'd actually be tempted to mix a drink. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've never tried it, but yeah, chamoy. Highly recommended, by the way. Next up is Lagunitas IPNA, which is an IPA that's non-alcoholic. I'm a little scared of this one. I like IPA. I don't know how that works in non-alcoholic. I guess all you really need is the hop, and the hop's not providing much in the way of what you ultimately get for the alcohol content. But looks thin. It's still bubbling some, but mostly the lacing looks a little light. It's kind of soapy. Okay. That's an IPA. It mirrors somewhat to the normal Lagunitas IPA scent. There's a level of funk to it, which I've had these for a while, so that may be what it is. I may be picking up some, things in the bottle that have had a chance to age more than they should. Question is, why do some people have such a hard time reaching orgasm? Never been a problem for me. Okay. So just to be clear, I've never seen a non-alcoholic IPA. So props to someone for actually trying it. I can see why no one has. This is completely off. This reminds me of it's got a Keystone mouthfeel. It's super light. It's not crazily carbonated, so there's nothing heavy about the mouthfeel. There's no alcohol really in it. You're getting hop oil and water. And that's really what I keep coming back to. You taste like that marijuana type thing in an oil that feels like it's mixed with water. It's like if you took, water and olive oil, mix them up, some hint of Doja, and this is where you are. It presents so funky. There's not a beer characteristic to it. It's really highlighting why malt and barley are so necessary in a brew, not just hop oil. I mean, again, props. If you can't drink IPA and you're just desperate, maybe, but I would recommend just not even doing it. I'm going to go with a 3. Perfectly describes how I'm feeling about this. I'm telling you, if I've ever confused you when I talk about mouthfeel and you're used to drinking IPA, try that and you'll understand what I mean. There's no body to it. It's like eating, you go to bite into what you think is a chocolate bar and it's just air inside. And a very thin layer of chocolate. It just does not work. Why do some people have a hard time reaching orgasm? For a lot of people, it's a mind game. And I understand that completely. There has to be some sort of buildup or work toward it. I also think that in the realm of sexuality, modern day society, while we're getting a little better, we're so used to focusing on the male perspective. And I think part of that is one, because males have retained the majority of societal powers, but also because males tend to be a degree hornier. Maybe it's biological. Just from the notion of survival of the species, a male is meant to spread his seed as much as possible, which means to be able to ejaculate faster and reach orgasm is a very important thing. So if you're needing to pop on the go, that's a thing. And maybe it helps the females of the species continue to want to try to find another male or to have sex with other males, just so that maybe they do eventually find one that can help them reach orgasm. But mostly I think it's a mind game, and the fact that we don't focus enough on how to make women come. So I think if you're out there and you're having a hard time, be a little more open, have a conversation with your partner about it so that they know what they can do to make it better for you consistently. So, because no one should be having to live with that. Orgasms are too nice. St. Pauli Girl is next. My question is sticking. It's also from Germany. St. Pauli Brewery. I can't say that. It's very light. The question is, where do you think you're filmed most without your permission? It's assuming you think that, right? Okay, so this one smells pretty good. A lot like this one, as far as what you get up front. And it says right on the back, it's brewed in accordance with Germany purity laws. A 1516, in case anyone was wondering. The difference is, this one felt unique as far as that European style goes. This one smells Stella Artois, more so. Heineken. Okay, this is more like Heineken from the scent. So the flavor on this, it's a little sweet. A little sweeter than I want it to be. If you could take a Heineken and mix it with maybe a quarter of like a Smirnoff Ice or something, you'd be close to this vicinity. That may not sound bad to you at all. It's not ideal for me. I love the scent, the mouthfeel. That's all pretty good. And again, if I'm looking for something non-alcoholic, this is going to be right up my alley. I'm going to give it a 6. Where I think I'm filmed the most without my permission. There are 2 places that come to mind where this bugs me. And one is changing rooms, and that seems the most obvious. You're trying to prevent people stealing, that sort of thing. But for some reason, I always think that it's happening in like rentals, like hotel rooms or cabins, that sort of thing. Like cameras are getting smaller and smaller, so you expect that. Or in bathrooms, and I don't know where that comes from, but that's the case. So here's hoping that's not the case. Ain't nobody trying to see me in the bathroom. Next up, can't even tell what this is. WB Brewing Hellraiser Dark Amber. That's a hell of a name for non-alcoholic. So this brewery sounds like it's going places. I've never heard of them before, so part of me wonders if they're just only non-alcoholics. I highly doubt that, but that would be cool. So the back of the bottle talks about how gently they remove the alcohol from the finished product, which I'd never really thought about. I guess I've wondered how you create a non-alcoholic, but part of me wonders now if all of them are pretty much created the same way, which is pasteurization. You just slowly raise the temperature of a finished product until the alcohol burns out of it. And then I'm guessing you have to force carbonate these on the back end. So it's basically just lightly boiling. According to this brewery, I should not be able to tell the difference. I don't know what your normal beers taste like, so who knows? Question is, what tends to be the last thing you think about before you're falling asleep? Okay. So I didn't really mention the scent because there wasn't much there. I could smell a bit of malt. I definitely taste malt, but not in a bad way. It tastes very lemony. And it looks like it's got more body than it does. It's not super light, but it doesn't look that heavy, or it doesn't taste that heavy. Yeah, it's weird. It's like someone took an amber and just dropped some lemon juice into it. That's where I'm at. Fuck to say it was dark amber? You're kidding yourselves. So amber, maybe you could be able to get away with, but if you called it like a lemon amber, I think that would set my expectations. Dark amber, no. I wouldn't even go so far as to say it's decent. I don't love the flavor. I'm going to go with a 4. It's unique, so to call it forgettable seems wrong, but I don't think that it's unpleasant. Last thing I think about usually before I'm falling asleep, that's an easy one. It's sex. What are you going to do? Simple answer. I'm a simple guy. Let's get on to our final beer. I don't have the confidence to pronounce this name. Weihenstephaner. Non-alcoholic, obviously. This is German as well. I didn't realize I had so many German beers at the table. I had seen that the non-alcoholics were quite a bit more popular now. I used to only be able to find 1 or 2, and then suddenly, boom, there were a bunch of them. I'm guessing the majority of them are imports. So, I appreciate you, Lagunitas and WB, whatever. This has that malty coriander funk to it. It still smells somewhat German. But there are a lot of American beers that do this exact thing too. Question is, what video game do you adore that a lot of people criticize? The mouthfeel is nice. It's light-bodied, but the spice note is consistent. Now, the problem is that there are only really 2 of these that feel good in the realm of non-alcoholics. Like if I was completely sober and trying not to drink any alcohol, only 2 of them I'd really want. This one comes close, but it's just not my typical flavor. I give it a 5. It's decent. I'm guessing something about the way they get rid of the alcohol in these creates that lemon citrus flavor note, because it's there too. And again, it could just be that these sat in my fridge a little too long. I don't know. I've had them for a bit. Malty though. Again, not bad. So, but these two. No, I'm wrong. St. Pauli girl. These two are probably where I'm landing. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm sure there are video games that I like that people criticize. I was trying to think of something outside of the box. Nothing really coming to mind at the moment. All I know is we tried. The group of us that were playing Destiny and Destiny 2, we tried to get a bunch of people in, and most people just couldn't get there. I'm thinking maybe that game feels like a big investment now. And I mean, I've stopped playing since they made some of their changes, but that'd be the one. I still adore Destiny 1, and I can't get a lot of people to play it, so that's all I got. Yeah, let's keep the conversation going in the comments. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, for another round at the Banter Bar.
I'll just leave you a little sip in case you want to go back.
I appreciate the sip. I think I could drink quite a bit of this.
I just want to see how it feels in my mouth.
I guess we'll see you next time.
On the Banter Bar.
We'll see you later, beer snobs.